What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm very excited to bring this video to you guys today. Now, we all know that we can build muscle by eating meat for protein. It's quite obvious at this point. We've been doing it for years. However, there is another way of doing things that is not quite as obvious, and that's what I'm gonna bring to you today. Because we all know that if we want to build muscle, we need to be eating around 150, 200 grams of protein, depending on your size, and that's a lot of meat. So there are other sources of protein that are very high in quality, very high in quantity, and unlike meat, they're very healthy for us. So kale is one of the most complete sources of protein that I can find. It has all 9 essential amino acids, and it has 9 out of 11 non-essential amino acids. That is huge. Glutamine is also one of them. Kale is extremely rich in glutamine. Kale is also a superfood with a whole slew of different health benefits that is really good for us. The problem with kale when utilizing it as your primary source of protein is getting enough of it. So if we're gonna sit down and try to eat 3 heads of kale, that would be very difficult. It would take you a while to chew it all up and eat it. It would also take a while for your stomach to digest. However, we can skip all that time. By utilizing a juicer is gonna chew everything for you and separate the fiber from the juice. Now, we need fiber. It is very important, but we can have a balanced diet where we get our fiber from other places, and that will allow us to utilize the juice to get way more nutrition than we would any other way. So in order to get enough kale in your diet to utilize it as your primary source of protein, you absolutely have to use a juicer, and you need to be juicing quite a bit of it. Now, years ago, whenever I was getting all of this figured out, I used to juice around 2, 3, maybe 4 heads of kale a day at the very most. And it wasn't until I doubled it and then tripled it, that's whenever I really started to get results. If we're talking about putting muscle on your bones, you need to be juicing at least a half gallon of pure green juice a day. That could be kale, broccoli, spinach, a mix of it all, even though kale is gonna have more amino acids in it than any of the other vegetables. But juicing is where the magic comes into play, because it allows you to get so much nutrition in such a short window, and also your stomach has to work very little to break it down to get that nutrition. That speeds up the process, especially eating meat. Because whenever we're eating a bunch of meat, like whenever you sit down and you eat like a huge meal, we get so tired and we just fall asleep. Meat is very difficult for the stomach to digest. Juice, on the other hand, it is very easy. Now, whenever we go from eating meat for protein to eating vegetables for protein, you cannot get caught up in the numbers game. We've all done it. I've done it. We read on the back of the chicken packet, okay, there's 20 grams of protein for 3 or 4 ounces of meat. Okay, and you do the math on it. Kale is not the same. The research that has been done on it, I don't know how I feel about it, because whenever we research kale, 100 grams of it is gonna have around, I think, 4.3 grams of protein according to the internet. But I think there's other differences at play here that need to be talked about. I don't think we realize the difference in quality protein. Now, there's not a lot of science to back up my claim here. You have to be weary about studies, because we just see the studies that was done by a stranger. We don't know who that stranger is. We don't know what their agenda is. We don't know how much they know about the topic that they are performing the study on, which in this case, juice. Now, one study that I can tell you is common sense, and nobody can argue with this, is let's look at a cow. Cows don't eat meat. We know that for a fact. Cows have plenty of muscle. They chew enough grass to build that kind of muscle because all they do is graze all day long. So that is more than enough evidence for us to realize that all the building blocks of muscle, it is in the vegetables. We have to speed up the process in which we can pull that in. That's where the juicer comes into play. If I wasn't juicing, I don't think I could put on the muscle quite the same way. It would be very difficult to eat that much kale. And also, taking in all this juice is going to enhance your health like crazy. Because let's look at kale. If you are taking in a half gallon of kale juice a day, kale is a superfood with a whole entire slew of health benefits. Meat, on the other hand, is not excellent for your health, and it's very hard on our body to digest. Now, I'm not here to tell people not to eat meat. It is your life, it is your lifestyle. I understand meat is delicious. I get it. I'm not trying to tell people not to eat it. The liver is what is in charge of protein synthesis. The healthier your liver, the better your body is going to be at making use of the protein that you are giving to it. Just because you're eating X amount of protein does not mean that that protein is making it to the muscles. We need a healthy liver. Whenever we juice heavily, the juice is going to bring so much life to your liver, and it is going to function at a very high level. That is another massive difference. Our bodies are supposed to be alkaline. They're not supposed to be acidic. An acidic body is going to be a sick body. Now, whenever we eat meat, meat breaks down in a very acidic way. Vegetables is the opposite. It's very alkaline. Eating tons of meat is also very hard on our cholesterol. Everybody can agree on that. If you want to have healthier levels of cholesterol, I also highly suggest juicing. There are certain fruits and vegetables that are going to have a great effect on your cholesterol. We're not going to dive too much into that today. I'm not telling people how to live y'all's lives. I'm not telling you to stop eating meat. I'm not telling you anything like that. But what I am telling you is that kale juice and other greens is the optimal source of protein that is healthy for us. We can take in more in a shorter window of time, and it's not gonna have negative health benefits like whenever we eat meat. Now, if you don't have a juicer, you can forget about it. You're going to need a juicer or some incredible jaw muscles. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found value in today's content, hit the like and subscribe. I'm gonna be pumping out tons of new content for y'all. Stay tuned. I love you guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.